Have you ever stopped to consider if your reality is actually real or just a very convincing personal illusion? What if your thoughts aren't just in your reality, but are actively shaping every detail of it? The very world you perceive around you, from the mundane to the extraordinary, might not be a fixed and objective stage, but rather a constantly shifting reflection of your inner thought processes. This isn't some abstract philosophical debate. This is about understanding the mechanics of your daily experience, because if your thoughts are indeed creating your reality, then that makes you the architect of your life, with the power to design your experience with intention. If what we experience is shaped by our thoughts, then how does one begin to understand and then control that dynamic? This is the journey we are embarking on, not as detached observers, but as active co-creators ready to take the reins of our own existence. Understanding the relationship between thought and reality isn't just an interesting idea. It's the key to unlocking your full potential. For most of our lives, we've been taught that we are at the mercy of external circumstances, passively reacting to a world outside of our control. But what if that's not the case? What if that victim of life mindset is just another program that can be rewritten, that we can transform ourselves from passive recipients of experience to empowered creators? This understanding isn't about denying the very real challenges of life, but about recognizing that how we perceive those challenges and how we react to them is entirely within our control. If we are responsible for our thoughts, then we are responsible for our lives. Understanding this dynamic isn't just about personal transformation either, because our individual realities interact to create our collective human experience. The very fabric of society, culture, and collective belief systems are just another manifestation of this dynamic, with shared thoughts becoming shared experiences. This knowledge allows us to not just reshape our individual lives, but also the world at large. Our thoughts, much like lines of code, form the underlying program that dictates our experience. Think of your mind like a powerful computer, constantly rendering your version of reality, and just like any computer, the code dictates the output. Your mental framework acts as a lens, filtering out some possibilities while focusing on others, creating your personal render. What you experience each day isn't necessarily a reflection of some objective truth, but rather a manifestation of your default mental frameworks and belief systems. Just as an old computer program can run in the background, consuming resources and creating unintended consequences, our habitual thought patterns can shape our reality in ways we are not even aware of. This is how our mental habits solidify into predictable patterns in our lives. If you're consistently thinking negative thoughts, you are effectively writing a program that produces negative experiences, and the inverse is also true. This also highlights the influence of our subconscious, the powerful background compiler that translates our thoughts into tangible experiences. This compiler takes our mental programs, our habitual patterns, and our beliefs, and generates an experiential output, which we then come to believe is reality. Understanding this dynamic, and particularly the power of the subconscious, is key to conscious creation. This isn't just a metaphor. Our thoughts act as seeds, and every thought we entertain plants an intention, which is then nurtured by our focus. Just like a physical seed, a thought must be cultivated with attention and emotional energy to manifest into our reality. We cannot simply plant a seed and expect a fully grown tree without watering it, nurturing it, and consistently giving it our attention. It's also important to realize that not all seeds are created equal. Some thoughts carry more emotional charge, which makes them grow faster. If you've ever focused on a negative outcome with enough emotional intensity, you may have observed how fast that negative scenario has manifested in your life. Conversely, when you focus on positive outcomes and possibilities with passion, you are essentially seeding positive manifestations in your life. This process also highlights the powerful connection between inner states and outer experiences. If you constantly focus on lack and limitation, That's the program you're running, and that will be the reality you will experience. But the reverse is also true. Much of this programming isn't even conscious. We often inherit these thought patterns from family, culture, and societal norms. These ingrained beliefs act like default settings, shaping what we perceive as possible. Before we can begin to consciously create, we must first become aware of and then question these default programs. If thoughts are the code and our reality is the output, then what does that make you? This is the question we will begin to explore throughout this video, and how you can reclaim your position as the designer of your own reality. If you are responsible for your thoughts, then what are you responsible for? What if there are no limitations to your experience, except the limitations of your own mind? Most of us are operating within the confines of a reality designed by collective thought patterns and belief systems, never realizing we have the ability to step outside of this collective render. What if this isn't just a theory, but a very real possibility? If your thoughts are shaping your reality, what might you choose to call into your experience if you fully understood this dynamic? What kind of future could you create if you understood your own mind as the very instrument of creation? This is not about magical thinking or ignoring the real challenges of life, but a shift in perspective that allows you to engage with these challenges with intention and conscious design. There is much hidden potential within your own mind to rewrite the code, to step outside the collective experience, and to begin creating a reality that is limited only by your imagination. This video will guide you through practical techniques for shifting mental code, breaking down limiting beliefs, and opening up your mind to the infinite possibilities of your consciousness. So, if our thoughts are indeed the very architects of our reality, where do these thoughts even come from? Are they original, springing forth from the depths of our unique consciousness? Or are they, perhaps, more like echoes, reverberating from the collective consciousness of our family, our culture, and the very societies we inhabit? The truth, as you might suspect, lies somewhere in between. While the capacity for thought is undoubtedly your own, many of the specific thought patterns that define your personal experience have been passed down through generations, often unconsciously absorbed from the people around you. These inherited beliefs act like a kind of mental software, running in the background, shaping how you perceive yourself, your relationships, and even your potential for success and happiness. Consider the common sayings we all hear, often from a young age, regarding money or love or success. Money is the root of all evil. Love is hard. You need to work hard to succeed. These seemingly innocuous phrases can become ingrained in our subconscious, dictating our choices, our actions, and therefore our experiences. The first step towards reclaiming your power as a conscious creator begins with the recognition that not all the thoughts that you experience are your own, and that many of them are simply borrowed patterns that, until examined, will keep playing out on repeat. Take a moment now to consider some of the limiting beliefs you might hold. Where did these beliefs come from? Do they truly resonate with your own authentic experience, or are they simply echoing the voices of others? This small act of inquiry can be the very seed of transformation. These thought seeds we've discussed, whether planted consciously or unconsciously, don't simply float around aimlessly in our mind. They are constantly being processed and converted into experiences by the powerful background compiler that is your subconscious mind. This subconscious mind operates like the engine room of your personal reality, quietly working behind the scenes to translate your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and patterns into tangible experiences that match. It is, in effect, constantly scanning your internal landscape, sifting through the myriad thoughts and beliefs you hold, and generating an external reality that aligns with that inner program. Think of it as a powerful rendering engine that constantly filters information and creates a coherent experience based on the code you feed it. One of the ways the subconscious does this is through something called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. This is a network of neurons located in your brainstem, and its job is to act as a kind of filter, sifting through the overwhelming amount of sensory information that you are exposed to highlight what is relevant to your dominant thoughts and beliefs. If, for example, you hold a deep-seated belief that the world is a dangerous place, your RAS will actively filter out positive and supportive evidence and will instead prioritize your attention on anything that confirms that belief, such as negative news stories or hostile interactions. In this way, your RAS doesn't simply passively receive information, but is actively creating your version of reality, selecting the very data it will allow you to experience. This is why two people can experience the same external event very differently, because the filters they have in place will fundamentally change what they perceive, and therefore their entire experience. The RAS is one of the ways your mental program creates your reality, by actively filtering what you perceive as relevant. If we understand our thoughts as a kind of code, then each recurring pattern creates an output that, in turn, reinforces the original pattern. These thought patterns can be likened to the lines of software code that dictates the function of a program. Just as certain lines of code will inevitably produce certain results, our recurring thought patterns create predictable patterns in our lives, reinforcing the idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you are constantly thinking negative thoughts about yourself, about your abilities, or about the potential for success in your life, you are in effect running a program that is designed to generate outcomes that validate those very thoughts. The same is also true for positive thought patterns, creating a reinforcing cycle that can elevate or limit our experience, dependent on the code we run. Just as a computer program can be debugged, updated, or completely rewritten, so can these mental programs that are controlling the very experience of your life. But this is only possible if you recognize them and understand how they operate in the first place. Consider this analogy. If a video game had a bug that caused the player to constantly lose, the solution is not to keep playing the game in the same way. The solution is to go into the game code and change the conditions, allowing for a new outcome. The same is true in our own lives, and by becoming aware of your habitual thoughts, you can begin to understand and then rewrite the programs that are currently generating your experiences. If you find yourself constantly struggling with certain issues in your life, take a moment to consider the thought patterns that are consistently operating in the background. This act of recognition, this first step in understanding, will be the start of your own debugging process. Now that you have a deeper understanding of the mechanisms that are shaping your reality, it is time to consider how to deliberately use this power to create the experiences you desire. One of the most potent tools for conscious creation is visualization, using your mind's eye to experience the reality you wish to create, even before it manifests in your physical experience. This isn't simply about daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's a very deliberate and powerful process, engaging your senses and your emotions to create a compelling inner experience of your desired outcome. The brain has a remarkable ability to blur the lines between what is imagined and what is real, and when you visualize something with enough clarity and emotional charge, your mind will begin to generate experiences that match this inner blueprint. When you engage in a visualization exercise, you are essentially creating a mental rehearsal of the reality you want to create. Think of it as a kind of mental magnet, using the focused power of your mind to draw the corresponding experiences and circumstances into your physical reality. To maximize the power of your visualization, engage all of your senses. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, see the colors, smell the fragrances. Bring as much detail to your mental picture as possible, and feel the emotions you would feel if that desire were already manifest. Now, take a moment and visualize something you wish to call into your experience: a new career, a fulfilling relationship, a better state of health, anything you desire, and allow yourself to fully experience that reality in your mind as if it were already here, with all your senses fully engaged. The more emotionally connected you are to that image, the more magnetic power it will have. Another powerful tool for reshaping your reality is the use of affirmations, carefully crafted positive statements designed to reprogram your limiting beliefs and create new, empowering thought patterns. Affirmations act as mental updates, allowing you to replace outdated, limiting code with new patterns of thinking that support your desired outcomes. These are not simply empty words. They are deliberate acts of intention, using the power of language to reprogram your subconscious mind. For affirmations to be most effective, they need to resonate with you on an emotional level, carrying a feeling of authenticity and truth. It is more effective to phrase affirmations in the present tense, as if the desired outcome is already a reality. I am healthy, rather than I will be healthy, or I am abundant, rather than I will be abundant. This is because the subconscious mind operates in the present tense, and therefore the more your affirmation suggests that what you want is already in your experience, the more effective it will be. To create effective affirmations, spend some time reflecting on your limiting beliefs and craft statements that directly contradict these beliefs. If you hold a belief that you are not worthy of love, a powerful affirmation might be, I am worthy of love and belonging. Repeat your affirmations throughout the day, feeling the emotional truth of the words as you speak them. And with repetition, these affirmations will become ingrained in your subconscious, rewiring your mental programming and shaping your experience in alignment with those new positive beliefs. Create your own affirmation now, based on one of your limiting beliefs, and start to use it as a tool of conscious creation. Equally important in shaping your reality is the practice of conscious attention, bringing awareness to your thoughts, observing them as they arise, without judgment. By simply observing the flow of your thoughts, you begin to create a space between yourself and your mental processes, realizing that you are not your thoughts, but the awareness that experiences those thoughts. This is a crucial distinction in reclaiming your power as a conscious creator, as it allows you to step outside of your automatic mental patterns and begin to deliberately choose the thoughts you wish to entertain. Just as the observer in a quantum experiment changes the outcome through observation, so too does your conscious awareness influence the manifestation of your reality. By becoming aware of the thoughts that are running in the background, you gain the power to choose whether to engage with them or to let them pass by. It's also very powerful to begin tracking your thought patterns in a thought journal. Each day, take some time to observe your thoughts and record them, identifying the patterns that are most prevalent. What themes do you notice? What are the consistent thoughts and emotions that run through your mind? This act of observation and recording can be extremely helpful in spotting recurring mental programs, allowing you to then consciously choose whether to continue running them or to rewrite them. Try a simple mindfulness exercise now. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and simply observe the thoughts that arise in your mind without trying to change them. Notice their content, their tone, and their emotional charge, and simply observe them without judgment. This simple practice, done daily, is a very powerful tool in understanding your mental landscape. The key to understanding and then reshaping your reality lies in the recognition that many of the limitations you experience are self-imposed filters based on deeply ingrained and often unconscious beliefs. Just as a filter on a camera lens can alter the light entering it, limiting the visual information it receives, your limiting beliefs act as mental filters, restricting your perception of what is possible. When you hold a belief that you are incapable of achieving something, you create a mental barrier that makes it far less likely that you will achieve that very thing. These limitations can manifest in many forms: beliefs about your intelligence, your ability, your self-worth, or even your potential for happiness. And just like any filter, it's important to remember that these beliefs are not an objective reality, but rather a way of seeing the world based on your existing code. If you believe that you are not good enough, the filter you are running will constantly highlight situations that seem to confirm that belief, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of limitation. The power of this knowledge is that you created that filter, and you therefore have the ability to remove it. Take a moment to consider where you use the phrase, "I can't." In your life, this simple phrase is often an indicator of where your limiting beliefs are operating. By identifying these mental barriers, you begin to see how you are actively creating a render of reality that is based on limiting beliefs, not on the actual potential that exists. The very idea of a fixed, unchangeable reality is itself a self-imposed filter. But what if this idea of a fixed reality was merely a construct of our collective consciousness? Perhaps the universe is less like a solid object and more like an infinite ocean of possibility, waiting to be shaped by conscious observation. The concept of the observer effect, from the realm of quantum physics, reveals how observation changes outcomes, and what was once a theoretical possibility suddenly becomes reality, demonstrating the active role of consciousness in shaping the very fabric of our universe. This isn't just an abstract scientific theory. It's an insight that directly relates to your own personal experience, as your beliefs, your expectations, and your focused attention directly shape your personal reality. Consider the classic double-slit experiment. When scientists observe a photon of light, it behaves like a particle. But when it is not observed, it behaves like a wave or a field of possibilities, demonstrating how the act of observation changes the very nature of reality. This illustrates that the universe is not a fixed thing, but a field of infinite potential, constantly being shaped by the conscious observer. And just like with the double-slit experiment, your mind is an active participant in shaping your personal reality. What you believe is possible, what you focus on, and the very lens through which you view the world is all an active part of the creation process, making it clear that our subjective experience isn't merely a passive reception of an objective reality, but rather an active engagement with potential that is shaped by our beliefs. If reality is not fixed, and our beliefs and thoughts are the architects, then what does that say about personal identity? Perhaps the idea of a fixed self is also a filter, that we are not a single immutable entity, but rather a collection of thought patterns and beliefs that we can consciously change. Many people identify with their programs, rather than as the coders of those programs. They believe that the patterns of thought, the mental habits, are their identity, rather than simply being tools they use. When people say, "That's just who I am," they are in effect saying, "That's just the program I'm running." But what if they understood that they had the power to rewrite that program, to create a new identity? If you identify as a shy person, or a clumsy person, or someone with a lack of ability, you are simply identifying with a program that you are running, not a fixed characteristic that you must carry for the rest of your life. You have the power to change that code, to create new patterns of thinking that are more aligned with the person you wish to be, rather than the person you believe you are. Take a moment to consider the possibility that you can become something else, that you have the capacity to adopt an entirely different set of beliefs, and imagine how that would change your life. Who would you be if you removed all your limiting beliefs? How would you behave? How would you act? Explore that possibility now. Consider a new potential identity that resonates with your heart, and notice how it changes your very perception of your possibilities. Understanding that our thoughts shape our reality also brings with it a great responsibility, a recognition that our power to create should be coupled with a deep commitment to ethical action. The power to shape your experience also comes with the obligation to use that power wisely, creating not only a life that is beneficial for yourself, but also for those around you. To use the power of thought simply to satisfy your own selfish desires without regard for others is a misuse of this power. In this sense, the power to manifest should always be guided by a deep sense of ethical consideration, ensuring that your intention is aligned with the greater good. When you use visualization or affirmations, you must consider the potential implications of your actions on others. If you use affirmations to manifest an advantage over others, that's a misuse of conscious creation. Always try to use your mental powers to create outcomes that are aligned with love, compassion, and empathy. By operating from that place, the power of your conscious creation will multiply, creating positive effects not only in your life, but in the lives of everyone around you. Conscious creation is not simply about manifesting what you want, but about creating a better world for all. The very collective reality we share is also being created by our combined thoughts and beliefs. And if our individual thoughts shape our individual realities, then our collective thoughts create our collective experience. This reveals a very powerful potential and also a very important responsibility. Every cultural narrative, every societal norm, every political system is nothing more than a manifestation of the collective thought patterns of humanity. This is how a simulation is formed, when a large enough group of people agree on a set of beliefs, and therefore those beliefs become ingrained in society as truth. This shared thought pattern creates the reality that we collectively experience. If, for example, a culture holds a belief that wealth is only available to a few, that will be the collective reality they will experience. But this isn't a fixed reality, it is a construct based on a collective belief system. By changing your own beliefs, and then sharing those beliefs with others, you become a powerful agent of change, capable of altering the collective landscape of human experience. Consider the power of collective movements that have sought to address injustice and inequality. Those movements are rooted in a change in the collective thought process. By shifting your own perspective, you are changing the world. By creating a new reality in your mind, you begin to bring that reality into being in the world at large. Ultimately, the journey we've been on together is about stepping into your true role as a conscious creator of your own experience. The power to change your life and to change the world lies within your mind, and that power is activated by the conscious choice of your thoughts. You are not simply a passive observer in this world. You are an active participant in its very creation. You have the ability to rewrite your mental code, to challenge your limiting beliefs, and to open your mind to the infinite possibilities of your own consciousness. By bringing awareness to your thoughts, by using the tools of visualization and affirmation, and by consciously choosing your focus, you can begin to design the very experience of your life. The very limits you've placed upon yourself are a reflection of your own thoughts. By changing your thoughts, you are in fact changing the very fabric of your perceived reality. This is not just an interesting idea. This is a fundamental truth about your power as a human being. Understand that your choices matter, that the way you approach your life matters, and that you are a very powerful being who is constantly creating your experience, whether consciously or unconsciously. The next step in this exploration is to look at the specific techniques to consciously change that code. And now that we understand what the code is, we can now begin the process of rewriting it. Now, having explored the core mechanics of how thoughts shape reality, including the influence of the subconscious, the RAS, and our mental filters, and having also examined how these concepts apply to our daily lives, it's time to move to the next level. We've seen how our thoughts act like seeds, how the subconscious acts as a kind of compiler, and how limiting beliefs can filter our perception. But how do you actually rewrite that code? How do you actively change your mental programming? This is the journey we will be embarking on in the next section, exploring specific techniques that allow you to rewrite your mental software and step into your role as a conscious creator. We've examined what the code is, but now let's explore how to debug and rewrite it so that you can truly start designing your life with intention and conscious awareness. So, let's bring all of this together and state clearly the primary revelation that has been building throughout this entire journey. Your thoughts are not merely passive reflections of the world around you, but the very active forces that shape it. Your personal reality is a direct render of your own inner code, a mirror reflecting your beliefs, your expectations, and your intentions. You are not simply in the simulation, you are also the program itself, and crucially, you are also the programmer, with the power to change both. The limitations that you've experienced, the struggles you've faced, and the very circumstances of your life are all a direct reflection of your internal landscape. And when that inner landscape shifts, so too does your outer experience. Remember the idea of thoughts as seeds. By consistently planting conscious intentions, you are actively shaping the very experiences that you will then harvest. This is not a passive process. It's an active, dynamic dance between your inner world and your outer reality. It's about taking responsibility for the code you are running and realizing that you have the power to change it. By simply understanding that your thoughts are the seeds of your reality, you've already taken the first step towards becoming a more conscious creator, making this knowledge an actionable tool and not just an interesting idea. By understanding this, your journey has now moved from a passive observation of a fixed reality to an active participation in its very creation. The thoughts as code pattern, which we've explored throughout this video, now reveals the precise way to shift your experiences. By changing the code, you change the output. Your mental habits, your beliefs, and your expectations are the lines of code that generate the very reality you experience. We've seen how limiting beliefs act as self-imposed filters, restricting your perception of what's possible and creating boundaries in your experience. And now, you have the tools to remove those filters and expand your horizons. The initial questions we posed about the nature of reality and the role of thought now have a very different resonance, and this shift of perspective has happened during the journey of this video. You are no longer merely experiencing reality. You are actively shaping it with your conscious attention. This understanding is the key to unlocking the infinite potential that resides within you, as you now hold the tools to consciously design your life and move from simply observing to active participation. You have moved from being a passive passenger to an active driver, and with this new awareness, anything is possible. And what about the broader implications of this, beyond your personal experience? This is where the real power of this idea truly lies. By changing your individual reality, you directly influence the collective experience of humanity. Mass consciousness, that shared simulation we all co-create, is a direct reflection of our shared beliefs, and every shift in your personal code has a ripple effect on the shared world. Every cultural norm, every societal structure, every political system is ultimately based on shared thought patterns, and when you change your personal beliefs, you also shift the collective narrative. You are not just changing yourself, you are also changing the world. This concept highlights the profound connection between the individual and the collective, and emphasizes that every thought you have has an impact beyond your immediate experience. The patterns of your life, those recurring themes and experiences, are also now revealed for what they are. They are simply a reflection of your dominant thought patterns, and once you change those patterns, you change your experiences. Recurring positive thoughts will create recurring positive experiences, and vice versa, and the thoughts as seeds pattern now becomes a simple cause and effect equation. What you sow, you reap, and by understanding this, you can actively cultivate the life you desire. There are no limits to what you can achieve when you truly understand this, because you have moved beyond passive observation into active, conscious creation. This brings us to the understanding of your personal power and the responsibility that comes with it. The power to shape reality is a tremendous force, and with this knowledge, you now have the ability to manifest anything you choose, but it is also paramount to always act with awareness and ethical consideration. Conscious creation requires a deep commitment to creating outcomes that are beneficial not only for yourself, but for others as well, and the choices you make, the intentions you hold, and the actions you take directly influence the world around you. Use this powerful ability wisely, and always choose to create from a place of love, compassion, and empathy. This understanding reveals the transformation that has occurred during this video, where you have moved from simply absorbing abstract concepts to gaining actionable tools for shaping the very fabric of your life, as you have moved from knowing to doing, and this active application is the very essence of understanding. Theory alone is meaningless without putting that theory into practice, and it is in the doing that the true learning occurs. Your actions are your expression of intention, and your intention is shaped by your thoughts. So you must therefore take responsibility for your own unique creation, both in the micro and in the macro. So, to answer the question that started this journey. Yes, your thoughts are creating your reality. That is the simple, direct, and satisfying answer to the mystery we have been exploring. And more importantly, this is an answer that is now actionable. We've explored the mechanisms, the implications, and the pathways for change. And the journey of understanding is now complete, with the final piece of the puzzle put into place. You now hold the key to your own personal simulation. And with this key, you can now move forward with intention. Your thoughts, quite simply, are the very architects of your experience. And by understanding this simple concept, you have the power to change everything. The patterns we've discussed are now clearly defined. Your thoughts are seeds, and those seeds grow into trees. Your thoughts are also code, and you can debug and rewrite that code. And finally, your limitations are only self-imposed filters, and these filters can be removed, allowing you to see the infinite possibilities that await you. Each pattern has been explored, expanded upon, and now finally brought to completion, and this very understanding allows you to move into a new level of awareness and into the practical application of these concepts in your day-to-day life. Perhaps there are still lingering questions, doubts that are bubbling up from within, and this is perfectly natural. The journey of exploration is never truly over, and each new question is simply an invitation for further growth and understanding. It is not about having all the answers. It's about recognizing that every question is a doorway to a new possibility, and that the journey itself is the destination. The path of discovery is a winding road, and you are equipped to navigate it with awareness and intent. Any remaining tension can now be released, knowing that the power to change your experience resides within you, and you are the only one who can wield that power. There is no external force that is dictating your fate, and you now hold the reins of your own reality. The insights you have gained during this video are not instructions, but tools, and just like any tool, they are to be used, tested, and refined along the journey. With compassion for yourself, move forward in your own unique exploration and understand that mistakes are simply learning experiences. You are equipped with the knowledge, the understanding, and the power to shape your own unique destiny, so use it well and be kind to yourself along the way. Now that you have this understanding, an entirely new landscape of possibilities has opened up before you. This is just the start of an exploration, and there are many layers to uncover, many concepts to explore, and many ways to apply these insights to your personal journey and beyond. So allow your curiosity to guide you and use this knowledge as your foundation. The journey of self-discovery is ongoing, and the tools you have gained are not confined to any one aspect of life, but can be used to enhance your relationships, your career, your creativity, or any area of your experience. Your potential is limitless, and the opportunities for growth and change are endless. So step into the space of curiosity and exploration, and allow your intuition to guide you. And finally, if you found this video useful, and if you feel a resonance with the information that has been presented here, please be sure to subscribe, share this video with others, and to explore the other videos on the channel. The journey of self-discovery is much easier when we travel it together, so by connecting with like-minded people, you are amplifying the experience of learning and further expanding your understanding. This is the first step on an exciting journey, a journey of conscious creation, and you are now ready to step into your full potential. The power to create your reality has always been within you, but now you have the awareness to use it intentionally, and this understanding will transform your life.